Hey, Maisha. You can hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I put up a thumbnail. I had made that thumbnail about 2 years ago. Okay, I had to come in on my old phone. My little new phone. I don't have no pictures or nothing in it because I didn't back up my data from my old phone to my new phone. But anyway, my sinuses and my allergies acting up. So anyway, I came on to do this little quick live. Okay, well, I don't know if I had told you, but I think it was around New Year's. Uh, we had got into it with this little girl that just moved in the neighborhood, right? And so it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. The cops got involved in everything or whatever. And then that weekend when they had that bad freeze here in Louisiana, I think it was like for a weekend. Yeah, it was like the Thursday night, maybe around like 12 o'clock. So it would have been Friday. So like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we had a real bad freeze in Louisiana, and so uh they started powering around here, but they wasn't actually powering at my house. I guess it was supposed to be a scare tactic. So they would just pop out like when they get in the front of here, when they cross over the tracks, because I stay by the tracks, the railroad tracks. So they will pop out, right? Well, anyway, that happened, and I actually seen who was doing it. But a vehicle. At first, I seen the vehicle. I didn't actually see the people that was in it, but I know that they was going to the house across the street. So they let me know, hey, well, y'all they involved in it, which I suspected or whatever. So bye Stephanie. Uh Maisha, you could delete them or whatever. But anyway, so that happened, right? So the little girl still was passing through my yard and saying little things and stuff like that. She still was passing. Okay. I told my children, I said, just don't tell her nothing, ignore her or whatever. I said she just looking for somebody to argue with. I don't know what she going through, but that's a child. So I'm gonna just leave it alone. Okay. Anyway, they ended up catching those boys that was doing that, and sure enough, it was the boys that was going to the house across the road. So anyway, yesterday we were sitting on my porch, and my porch is, I would say medium size. It's a good little size, and I was sitting like in the middle of my porch, and my daughters was sitting to the left where they can see down the railroad track from where they were sitting at, and I only could see a certain amount. So anyway, we did see a group of children go down the train track, and that's not normal. I mean, not normal, but that's normal. They usually go play down that train track. So we saw about 10 kids go down the train track. I noticed it, they noticed it, and we just kept on in our conversation. So about a good, maybe I say 15 minutes. Yeah, it's actually illegal. They're not supposed to be on that. It's actually illegal for them to be walking on it, but the parents is not supervising them. And one of these little boys is what, 5, 4, and one is 5, and the other kids is like 8, 9. Well, anyway, They walked down the little boy came back running. About 15 minutes, Maisha, he came back running. And he was saying, I didn't understand what he was saying, but my daughter said, she said, he's saying, help me. And I said, he's not saying help me. She said, Mama, she said, that child saying, help me. Help me. She said he was saying, help me, please. I just seen that he was crying. So my other daughter, she said, Mama, she said, yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying, help me, help me. So my daughter stood up and she asked him, she said, baby, what's wrong? And he just kept saying, stop hitting me, stop hitting me. So she said, when she stood up, she can see down the train track. I couldn't see. All I saw was one little boy behind him trying to get him to stop running. So when my daughter stood up and she kind of walked towards the end of my porch, she can see down the train track. She said, Mama, she said they trying to hold him. She said they trying to, catch him or whatever. She said, it's all them kids that just went down there. So when he finally got by us, he was crying. His mouth was all bust open. When I got close to him, he had the biggest hickey on his head. And I said, oh Lord, what they hit you with? And he said, they were beating me with the train rocks. They was beating me with the train. Yes, yes. He said it was beating me with the train rocks. So I told him, I said, let me take you home. He said, no. He said, I don't want to go home. He said, I don't want to go home. So he said, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home. So I said, well, who was hitting you? So he told us the name of the kids that was hitting him and stuff. So I said, they was hitting you actually with the train. He said, he shook his little head, yeah. So he was reluctant. He was actually finna go to the kid's house that did that to him. So I was trying to hold his little hand to keep him from going back over there. So he was reluctant because he don't know us. He just see us in passing. So he was trying to hold, push my hand away. So I let his little hand go. And my daughter Tiana, she said, Mama, she told him, she said, baby, she said, you have to go home and you have to let your mama know what happened. And so my daughter said, me and my mama gonna walk you home. You walk ahead of us and we gonna walk on the back of you if you uncomfortable. So he walked with us and stuff, but you could tell he was reluctant, poor baby. And he walked on the back of us, and as we walking, girl, the boy head, the little hickey getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Lord, girl, I'm in tears. I'm in tears. So we make it to his house, and my daughter knocked on the door or whatever, and me and my oldest daughter, because my oldest daughter, she came around in her car. Me and my daughter tweeted. We walked or whatever. So my daughter said, yeah, she said, I think this the house right here. Cause he was trying to take us to another house. And my daughter said, no, she said, I seen that little boy walking the other night. She said he was right here in this area. She said, I think that's the house right there. But anyway, so we went to that house or whatever. And my daughter, like I said, she knocked on the door or whatever. So we stood out there for about a good 10 minutes because he went directly in the house. So we stood out there for about a good 10 minutes. So my daughter, we went to the front door and my daughter knocked again. So about standing out there another 7 minutes, the mama finally came outside and she said she was in the house sleeping. So my daughter say, she say, I know we had our differences. She said, but those kids was throwing hit him with train rocks and he didn't want to come home. And she said, I know as a parent, I will want somebody to, bring my child home or help my child. She said, so we thought it was best to bring him home because he didn't want to come home. And she said he wasn't supposed to be down the road. She said, I don't want him playing with those kids. She said, so that's why he didn't want to come home. So my oldest daughter, she chimed in and she was like, she said, yeah, she said, because she said they was holding him. She said they was actually like trying to grab him and bring him back. And the area where they had him at, they have abandoned houses right there. So as a parent, when I would have heard train rocks, abandoned house, you couldn't have told me nothing. I would have been gone. Gone. And so my daughter said, if you want, she said evil. Evil kids. She said if you want, you could ride back with us. So that's what, that's what we got in a car, whatever. And so she gets down, and my other son, when he seen my daughter car, he say, y'all, he say he said her son right there, he said they just beat him up too. He said he bleeding, he got scratches all in his face. He said my son said he ran up to me asking me for help. So he said I told him to stay right here. Excuse me, my throat. Ooh, my throat itching. He said I told him to stay right here. He said, but he didn't want to stay. He said, but he his little face is bleeding. And so she said, well, where he went. So she said he ran down there. She said he said my son said he ran down there. He said actually those kids, two of those kids is following behind him. And so she went down the train track calling him and stuff because he was gone. He didn't even want to stop running. So my daughter said, you want me to go come around and get you? So my daughter said she told her, she said, she said, I got it. Baby, we sit on the porch, right? Cause I had ordered my grandbaby some food from McDonald's, some of their Happy Meals and stuff. And the order had came. So they had their little they got a little picnic table. So they was sitting at their little picnic table and they was eating their little Happy Meals and stuff. So we on the porch. Y'all, don't y'all know that girl ain't never came back? That woman did not come back and talk to the parent of those kids or nothing. That woman went back home. About an hour later, the kids came back. The two little boys, now mind you, one is 4, one is 5. They came back with the 8-year-old brother. They went over there, right back over there, and played with those children. Let me tell y'all what they did. Tell y'all what they did. They took them to another abandoned house, which is on the corner. It's not abandoned, but nobody lived there or whatever, but it's not abandoned. But they took them children right back to that house, another house. So my daughter said, oh, she said, Mama, she said, now where you think the mama at? Where you think the mama at? So my other daughter said she probably went back to sleep. I'm like, y'all, That baby needed a medical attention. When my daughter got off of work today, they was down the road. And my daughter said, Mama, she said, at first she said, I didn't see why you said, oh my God, would they hit you with? She said, I didn't see what you see. I said, yeah, I said that hickey was huge. And it had started farming. So she said, Mama, them children faces all messed up. She said they got scratches and they some high, they real bright. So she said, Mama, she said they got scratches all in their face. She said, so if they go to a daycare, she said, I'm pretty sure the other one is probably in kindergarten. She said they gonna question her. I said she should have called the cops and got the children medical attention because that little 4-year-old, I'm pretty sure his pretty sure that forehead was fractured. I'm pretty sure he had some fractures on his head. And my daughter said, Mama, she said, I actually seen, some of them throwing at him. But she said some of them was trying to, physically restrain him. And she said, poor baby, I just, oof, Lord have mercy. And like my son said, Mama, he said, the people that they started all that mess with was the people that tried to help them. And I say, yeah, I say that didn't even cross my mind. I just seen that a child was, you know, needed help or whatever. But I don't know how she could take it as a parent because I would have been out there fighting. I ain't even gonna lie. I would have been out there fighting. But I told my daughter, I said, you know why she probably didn't want to call the cops? Because she was home sleeping and them children snuck out that house. So that's probably why she didn't want to call the cops because they probably snuck out the house. That's what I feel. That's why she didn't want to call because them children snuck out that doggone house. And she was in there sleeping. And she just seemed like so out of it and like unbothered. I'm like, man, somebody would have got towed up. Somebody would have got towed up. I think my screen is it frozen? Wait up. Maybe she didn't want to start nothing with they already done got into it before. They already done got start something. It wasn't nothing about starting nothing. They already done got into it before. The thing of it is, you should have seen them children faces. You should have seen them children faces, Maisha. I always look at the big picture. What if that little boy wouldn't have got away? Because they was definitely trying to hold him. They was definitely trying to hold him down from getting away. From getting away. And I'm like, then they took him to an abandoned house. To an abandoned house. If that baby wouldn't have got away, Lord, them children would have came home like nothing happened. They wouldn't have said nothing. Because that's not the first time they did that. They beat up another little boy. What they did with him, they took him on the back of the house and beat him. And nothing was done about that. Nothing was done about that. Some people don't believe that children could do bad things. They don't put that in their mind. They can't accept that kids could do something like that. But I can. I can. I can. I done seen and been around uh bad kids, evil kids or whatever. Them kids would have heard them children bad, and they would have politely went in their house, took their little showers or whatever, and got ready. And would have been out there playing today. Not. And you know what? The other night, she was looking for that little boy, that 4 year old. She was looking for that little boy. I wonder if they beat him up or did something to him the other night and he didn't say anything because he didn't want to go home. He did not want to go home. That baby did not want to go home. But yeah, something definitely would have been started with the parents. But I feel that's why she didn't come back because she was in that house sleeping and they got out that house. Them children are small. But you know what? Me and my son always wondered where she would be at because when they had that freeze, those children was outside from like 8 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, and it was real cold that weekend. And those little children was outside, and my son would say, Where you think they parents at?" And I said, "Well, maybe she worked, and her teenage daughter's supposed to be watching them." That's what try to give her the benefit of the doubt. But it 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, they will be outside and they walk on that train track all day long. They try to ride their little bikes on the train track all day long, back and forth all day long. And my son always saying, "I wonder where their parents are." I say, "I don't know." I said, "But let's just keep an eye on them until they get off of the track, so and stuff." Cause I wouldn't want to be out there and nothing happen to them, cause that train track is long, and you have to walk a good little piece to get by their house. So I'm like, "Oh, please watch over them," because the mama sure not watching over them. She's not watching over them at all. Sad. That's sad. And my daughter was getting mad. She said, "Mama, you would have hung her." I said, "I sure would have. I sure would have." She said, "It ain't no way." I said, "No, it's no way. I would have got Lord, Lord, baby." And real bright. They real bright, Maish. They real bright, and they little faces. And those train rocks. They can cut. They can cut. I remember when I was small years ago. We was from another end of town, and we was walking to this end of town to go to the store, and I had some sandals on. And where we was walking there to get to the store, the train tracks got a little deeper. Where they had more rocks, they had to fill the sections in with more rocks. And one of them rocks cut through my sandal and sliced half of my toe. My toe was hanging on, my baby toe was hanging on by just a little piece of bone, just a little piece of meat and a little piece of bone. That's how bad they could cut you. Them things are dangerous. They are dangerous. And I had some little lounge shoes on, but I didn't even think about it that they could have sliced through my little lounge shoes and cut my foot again. But I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just trying to get that baby home. I was just trying to get him home. Yep, 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 yep. So that's what I did yesterday. Um, that's what I did yesterday, and to say my daughter said, "Mama, they back over there." I said, "Well, I feel we did our part. We told her about it. She's not supervising them. Um, I don't always be outside because now, since the spring coming up, I'm not gonna be out there. My allergies is real bad. If I do go sit out there, I'll maybe wear a mask or whatever. Um, which they've been encouraging people to still wear their mask. So every now and then when I think about it, I'll wear my mask. But that pollen and all of that, I can't do it. I can't do it. I took some earlier for my allergies, and it didn't make me too drowsy, but I did kind of want to fall asleep around 1 o'clock. But I fought it because my daughter got off at 3, so I fought that. I fought it. So yep, yep. That's what I did, but I'm glad I don't have the pressure, the sinus pressure in the middle of my forehead and the top part of my nose. I'm glad I don't have that. So I took Claritin one time. I didn't like the effects that it had on me. It didn't work on me the first day. It worked on me the second day. And I slept. I was drowsy. I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that feeling at all. That Claritin, and it's another one. Is it Allegra? And it's something with an A. I want to say Allegra. No, I say never again. I will never take those two allergy medicines. No, no. So I just got me some over the counter. Um, and my daughter. It made me drowsy. Like I said, not the first day, the second day. And the Allegra, oh no, that Allegra, I had a bit of taste in my mouth with that Allegra. I didn't like that one at all. But it put me down like for 2 days. 2 days. Well, yeah. Um, a lot of them say they non-drowsy. I found one, and I can't remember the name of it. But I know, you know what? It was I want to say a Dollar General brand, and that's the only one I've ever taken that never made me drowsy. And I can't remember how it looked because every time I get some, I always get different kind. And I can't remember. I know it's a Dollar General one that say non-drowsy, but I can't remember how the package look, the packaging look or whatever. But hmm my voice already deep. That's how you could tell when somebody thyroids or they have throat issues. Their voice get deep. My ex, he had trying to remember what's the name of the cancer he had. I know he had a form of lung cancer, and he had one that was in the glands, and his throat, his lymph nodes would swell up, and I could tell when they would swell up. And he would always ask me, "How you could tell?" I say, "Your voice sound different. You sound more His voice would sound more deep." Yep, his voice would sound more deep. hmm But yes, ma'am. So I don't know what she gonna do. Um, I'ma just mind my business. If I see they hurt or whatever, I don't know. Maybe next time, maybe call. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Cause as a parent, as a grandparent, I can't stand to see that. I cannot stand to see that. A lot of people, my daughter said, "Mama, a lot of people turn their heads to stuff like this," and I said, I just can't. I just can't. Brought it to the parent attention. Matter of fact, they had even took his shoes. They had even took his little tennis shoes or some. I forgot what she called the shoes. Yep, yep. Poor baby. But they had even took his little shoes. And my daughter said, "Well, yeah." She said, "The little boy got on his shoes." And she said, "Oh no." She said, "I just bought those shoes." Girl, you still standing when, girl, mm-mm. I don't play with that. Can't play with that. Yep, 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 yep. You cannot play with that. And they the cutest little boys. They so cute. And they be down the road by themselves. They be down the road by themselves. And the sister, she asked my daughter to walk with her down the road. And so that's before all of this that happened. And so my daughter say, I told Tweet, I say, "But I don't play that." She said, "No, ma." She said, "Mama," she said, I said, "No, it ain't nothing about no thinking. It ain't nothing about no thinking. I don't care if Addie know her from school. I don't want her walking with no little girls down the road." She said, "No." She said, "Addie just walk right down to the end of the driveway," and she stopped. So I told my daughter, when I seen her with the little girl across the road, I said, "It gonna be some mess with that little girl," because I saw her how she looked over here. I said, "It gonna be some mess with her," and sure enough, it was. It sure enough was. Mm-mm. My daughter don't walk up and down that road. Yeah, it's a shame. Walking up and down the road. I let her walk with her niece to her little best friend house about a year ago, and my son was with him. My son, my son was with him, and when it was time to come back, my daughter went walked and met them halfway. It's too much happening. It's too much happening around here, and a lot of people. She started some mess. She started some. You see, what she wanted to do, she wanted to leave her little brother, because my daughter got a big trampoline in her yard. Okay, well, the trampoline is for my oldest daughter kids, but of course, all of them jumping and already, they all jump in it, and because my oldest daughter stay in a apartment complex, so her yard is not big enough to have that, so they put it by my daughter house, so she wanted the little boy to jump with Nate. First of all, Nate, a little girl, we're not playing that. Cause I don't know how we don't know how he's being raised or whatever. So it ain't none of that. Cause he wanted to hold Nate. No, what you trying to hold her? No, you can't hold her. You a baby, she a baby. No, sir. So they shut that down pretty quick. Here, come get your little brother. Come get your little brother. Well, she was trying to get away from the little boy, right? She was trying to go meet a little guy. And she wanted to leave her little brother by my daughter house. But my daughter cut that short. Come get your little brother. So like I say, when I seen her over there, I knew, and the way she looked, I said she gonna start some stuff. And she did. she quickly found out, she quickly found out that we not the ones. We not the ones. She quickly found out. Quickly. When I tell you quickly, she quickly found out that we wasn't the ones. And like I told that officer, because he threatened to mace us. Like I told him, I said, if you think I'm gonna let all them children jump my son, or truckers, one of the little guys threatened my son. I said, if you think I'm gonna let all them children jump on me or jump on my son, I say, I'm not that girl in Chicago. No, I'm not her. I just want, that's some kids. I said, you know what? You let them all jump on you. Tell me about it. Because they're not about to jump me. I'm telling you. They're not. If three or more of them kids, I told them, I said, if three or more of those kids run up on me, we going to have a problem. I said, because I'm telling you, those kids carry weapons. We done made police report after police report after police report. So you run up with how they was threatening us, but lighting us up, okay, run across here. Just run across here. You know the thing of it is, Maisha? Because my daughters was still talking. The thing of it, but the little girl was still talking too. The little girl was still in my yard screaming profanities, saying all what she was gonna do, what her mama was gonna do to us, and this and that. So the officer never asked her one time, what are you doing in these people's yard? Not one time did he ask this little girl, well, why are you in the yard? Not one time he asked her. Not one time. And later that night, I stayed outside after everything was over. My daughter left because my daughter stayed about a good 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes after it happened. And my other daughter, she stayed maybe another good 20 minutes after everything happened that night. So I stayed outside another good 10 minutes. So my son was like, Mama, come in the house. Mama, come in the house. So I finally went in the house. So one of my sons was in the backyard. Wait, hold on, right quick, Maisha. Hold on. I'm back, Maisha. So with that being said, no, she said her mama was gonna come beat me and my son. Her mama was gonna come beat me up and my son. Okay. So I said, okay, all right. I came in the house, I got dressed, put me something comfortable on or whatever, got ready. Got ready for her mama. So anyway, mama came, my mama didn't say nothing. Her mama didn't say nothing. Her mama actually hit her. Her mama hit her and told her to be quiet. But you know, after that, she never asked, her mama never asked what happened or anything. She just would kind of look and kind of roll her eyes. I didn't pay no attention to it. I didn't pay no attention to it. But I did tell her yesterday what it was about. I did tell her that yesterday. But anyway, the children out here, they, they getting more, they getting worse. They getting worse. They getting more. They getting worse. They getting worse, baby. They don't listen. They don't listen. And I'm like, um, she just kind of looked like, oh, like, like, oh, so that's what really happened. But she didn't say that. She didn't say that. But maybe when I guess when everything got settled and she thought about it, the little girl was in my yard. But I could tell there's something wrong with her upstairs. I could tell something wrong with her because it's like she wasn't comprehending. It's like she wasn't comprehending what um what we were saying to her. Or she was, maybe if something not wrong with her upstairs, she on something. Cause she was just like, she was so slow to move and everything. So like I said, if it's not upstairs, then she's definitely on something. She's definitely on something. Then homegirl had a sports bra on with some tights with all her I thought she was pregnant. She had a sports bra on with some tights. And she always wear that sports bra with them tights with all her stomach out. And I'm like, does she know that's a bra? That's a bra, baby. Well, from the looks of it, she didn't care. She didn't care at all. She was like, they know I don't play about mine. Girl, you went home. You went home. Shucks. But that's what I came on to tell you. I might come back live later, Maisha. I'll talk to you later. I don't want to hold you up.